they don't trust God at all. Because if they did, they would not have to make laws to force people to live a certain way. They would just leave it up to God. If the law comes through, if something comes through and makes people change, then that's trusting God. They don't get involved in it. They do not try to make laws. They don't back people who do that.
Hi, I'm Dan.
And I'm Can. Was I talking during the time we were supposed to be quiet?
Yes. And this is the Dan and Can podcast.
Yep.
So, what?
I feel like I ruined that whole first section.
We're not professionals. I'm good.
Yeah, we're not.
I got enough.
All right.
It's good. You're in a talkative mood. That's what we like.
I don't know if I am. I feel like I'm starting to hot flash. So I'm like, I need this little fan to blow on me. Anybody who's in perimenopause or has a wife in perimenopause or a partner in perimenopause.
Didn't I send you a video the other day about perimenopause?
I don't know. Probably I get videos from everybody on those things. Why? What'd you send me?
It was, it was the, it was the go-kart one. Girls in their 20s.
I don't know if I saw it.
Huh?
I haven't seen it. Should I watch it right now?
Hold on. Here, we'll watch it together.
Okay.
Send it. Well, let me see if I can find it.
Well, I can send it to you. I don't know what it looks like.
Well, no, I can pull it up here too. This is outstanding work here.
What, us right now?
Yeah.
You know what? It's real life. Oh, I've started to watch it, but I won't look at it. I am not gonna. Do you have it? Because I can send it right to your messages.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it. All right. So,
is it gonna piss me off?
No. Do I ever send you things that piss you off?
Oh yeah, you do. Hang on air.
All right. So, on air. We're really put together. It's hotter than hell out today, folks.
It's hot and it's just.
That's why Candy's in full jeans and everything.
Is that
else.
why?
Yeah.
I still have my headphone in. Hang on.
So let's see here.
Here's a little tip for the ADHD
just
people.
a little bit of housekeeping.
Who lose their headphones.
Locking an individual.
Get one of these at Michael's.
Well, you've never read the Bible because God does not respect free will.
Stop
and he's
losing
the
my
only
headphones all the
person that can send
time.
you.
How many AirPods did I go through?
A lot.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Wait, I don't have my glasses on.
You need your glasses?
Yeah, because I can't see the TV.
All right.
What? Okay, the aging process of women, perimenopause.
Okay, we'll start it over again.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't watching.
20s.
20s, 30s.
30s.
Got a helmet on. You're just going a little slower.
Perimenopause, menopause.
Accurate. Oh my God. That looks fun though.
Yeah, of course you think so.
Perimenopause and menopause is it fun? To be fair, it hasn't been terrible for me, but I've been doing a lot of things to preemptively keep it at bay. I might go on hormone replacement therapy. I don't know. I'm going to talk to a doctor and see if that's something I would, because I've heard that is one of the biggest, like science messed up there, basically, by getting people to think like it's like cancer causing. I don't know. Yeah, I could be totally talking out my ass. I need to talk to somebody who actually knows this stuff.
Well, there's been I've seen a lot of new doctors coming out saying just that there was a lot of.
Yeah, but you never know that the algorithm's just feeding you all the people that are positive about it. And then there's really problems with it. I don't know. But there are some things I'm like, it might be beneficial. Yeah. But I do take a lot of supplements. I try to work out. Yeah. I try to eat, pay attention to what I'm eating. But still, there are things that are like spinning on a go-kart.
Yes.
But that did look fun, I will say. I want the fun part.
There was me coming in trying to slow you down.
Wow. Okay. Anyways, they do say, you know how women have this cycle or whatever? Men have theirs.
Yeah.
Theirs is 24 hours, I think, and ours is 26 days, 28 days.
You heard it from the horse's mouth.
So every day, you're going through the full range of hormones.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell?
Yes. It's annoying.
She's lying.
No, I'm not lying. There are times you really can't tell.
Are there?
Something's bothering me. Fix that curtain because the window is showing up there and that really bothers me.
Again,
Thank you.
We're not professionals. We're doing
that was all last week. It was there. Yeah. It bugged me.
So maybe when this video comes out, we'll have our first in our bi-weekly.
Oh, the gaming sesh with the kids?
Yeah, deconstructing video games with the kids. Our adult children are teaching us video games.
We used to play video games a long time ago.
Yeah, this is off a PC, though.
It's off a PC. We don't play video games anymore.
I'm used to the controller.
So you're not even used to that because you don't play video games at all.
Not much anymore, no.
But we worked together and it was fun. It was fun with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, I think Calvin's like, there's a lot of games you and Dad could just play together. So maybe we'll do some videos of just me and you playing it together too. We suck so bad because we would not know what we're doing.
You'll see. Either you've already seen or you will see.
And we'll be streaming on Twitch at times. So if you ever want to get on there and say hello, that'd be fun.
Every other Sunday.
That's the plan right now.
Twitch, yeah. We'll announce it when we start figuring out a routine. We'll announce what we're doing. But
thanks for kicking the fan to me.
You're welcome.
I'm about ready to have a hot flash. Let's just go on. Don't take it off of me, Dan. Seriously, I'm on the verge.
I just wanted a little breathe. I've been outside all day long.
You get nothing. Give it all to me.
Sure,
okay, fine. I'll share it. We'll share it every 15 seconds.
No, you can have
it. Now I feel bad.
No, you got it.
No, you have it for a little bit, and then I'll just have a hot flash for a minute. It's fine. I've had them before. No, stop it.
Glad you joined us for very chaos fights.
Okay. All right. We're here. We're gonna pay attention.
Yeah.
Focused.
Maybe if you put it up over there, it can blow across you and to me.
I don't think the cord will reach. Okay, dude. I don't think it'll reach you. Now it's not hitting me at all.
There we go.
Okay, I'm glad you feel some relief.
Push it towards you.
No, it's fine. Just go, or I'm going to
push it towards you. I'm not starting until you push it towards you more, because I'll get some of it off of you.
You won't.
I will.
If I turn it to me, you're not going to get any.
I'll get it. It'll bounce.
There, I got a little bit. If I put my hand out here, yes.
It's physics. Okay, this is what she's going to be doing the whole show. So, anywho, Jesus, we started talking about last week.
Oh, I thought you were using Jesus as a swear word there.
Jesus, turn the fan towards yourself. But we were starting a series here on Deconstructing Jesus. We started last. We had a catch up. Last week we had the update on our little airport evangelical friend. Mm-hmm. And then we started on the Deconstruction of Jesus, going into it, and we really unprepared. We just got back from vacation. Candy was suffering from a major viral infection of some sort. Are you over it yet?
My nose is still runny, but
so about what, 90%?
Yeah.
And I was in the weeds that day. If you saw the Candy conversation from 2 weeks ago when we recorded after that, it was like going to bed. It was a rough night.
It was.
So, but
then the next day, you bounced back so fast. Like, I was gone somewhere, I don't remember, but you were like, I was like, so how was your day? And you're like, I got home from work, I mowed the lawn, I made dinner, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, and then we went for a walk, and I was like, what the hell? And I was still trying to get over my
what?
And then when I said, did you get any of the cold symptoms? And you're like, no, I felt a twinge of
hatred.
No, like, I'm glad you didn't, because I don't want you to get it, because, I don't like it when you're sick. But it was just like, really? And this is, I guess partly it's because I haven't been sick for so long that it was just like.
Yeah, it's rare for either of us to be that sick.
Yeah, but
so with that being said, we're going to continue on with the beginning of Deconstructing Jesus and what he is, because we kind of touched on a little bit, getting into the whole masculine. She's hot. The whole masculine, just yoked, abs. And I think the picture you put up on the episode was him in an American tank top.
Oh, yeah.
Just ripped, like.
That's the type of Jesus that a lot of, at least Christian nationalists picture. I will, like, Can we just get right into, or you have a video?
Yeah.
Well, something I was thinking about over this week that I wanted to talk about when we talk about deconstructing Jesus is it hit me this week because I started thinking about the songs I was taught when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And there's certain militant songs. There was a lot of military imagery in the songs that I sang as a child. And also our children sang in church. And that then turned into me having a epiphany that I was actually being groomed into Christian nationalism without even knowing it. Like I had no idea that I was being raised Christian nationalist. And I don't know that my parents were aware of that, even though they slipped into it too.
Yeah, they were
But
falling
the school
into it too,
that they put us in is where a lot of it got picked up.
And we've seen clips of the preacher. It was your principal, and he has a giant American flag behind him.
He has if you drive by his church today, there is a flag hanging off of their church sign, which is to me is like an oxymoron. That shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't be. But then again, the curtain doesn't match the drapes, or the drapes don't match the curtains in that, or rug or whatever in that household. He's gray on top and got this jet black beard.
Dan wants to make comments on his account, but he withholds because my name is attached to the account too. So he's being a good boy.
I am. So, and we all know the songs, I'm in the Lord's army.
I may never march in the infantry, shoot the artillery. I may never march in the infantry, fly over the enemy, shoot the artillery. I may never. I must have said something wrong. No. But I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. So our Lord's army.
Yeah.
There's more songs. I'm trying to think. There was a lot of talk about being in war. And I remember actually my dad saying this image. And maybe I heard other people say it, where the armor of the Lord.
I was just going to say, how many lessons did we hear about the
armor,
spiritual armor of God,
which was like the breastplate of righteousness, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith.
We actually bought the costume for the kids.
I don't think we bought it.
I thought we had it for
No, I don't think so. I remember we made like a shield thing. I think we made something, but I don't think we ever bought a costume. But there was costumes. But we probably made it and called it those things. Shoes, feet shod with the preparation of the gospel or something like that, right? So a lot of military talk. And my dad would say, it's all this front armor because if you turn your back basically on God, the arrows of the devil will stab right into your back because you're not protected in the back. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of lame that he wouldn't protect us from the back. But anyway, so it's like.
But maybe it was just based off the current military garb of the time.
Yeah, it was.
Was that Paul that wrote that?
Yeah, it was probably Paul. I think it was. It was in the New Testament where they talk about the.
So the Romans, that was their military garb. They didn't have much back protection.
And I think maybe.
Because that was how they fought. It was all sword battles.
Well, and
forward facing. And there's also that military pride of if you're getting shot in the back, that means you're running
and you're being a coward.
And that's being cowardly, and that's dishonorable.
What if you're past the enemy, you get past their lines and you're running?
Yeah. I think it's more of the thought
cowardly kind of. Okay, so I'm also wondering where this image of Jesus, because Jesus was very at the end time or at the time before he's going to die, he says something, there's like a sword somewhere where they're at. And so they go to, I think it's in the garden, and then Jesus is kissed by Judas or whatever, and the guards come to grab him, and Peter, I think it is, cuts off the guard's ear. Yeah. And Jesus picks up the ear, puts it back on, and he's like, if you live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword, which basically to me is saying like, if you don't want to die this way, just don't, this is not what my kingdom is about. My kingdom is not about violence. They will take scripture verses. There is a scripture verse that says like,
that's an interesting point.
People are coming into the kingdom of God through violence. They kind of come in, and I don't know if that word's translated actually appropriately.
European Christianity. Shit, I don't think I saved it. There's a video I saw the other day where this white Christian woman was like, I don't know what you guys are talking about and why you're all upset about this Iraq war. Because, you look at Islam, and they're the ones that are militant and want to force people into their religion. Prove to me wherever Christianity has forced someone into their religion. And then the girls clipped it and then started showing pictures of natives.
Oh my gosh, it's all the way crusades, all over the place.
Nuns behind
ever since it was joined with the empire they have used it to subject people, because if they're like, if you're going to come into our empire, you're going to come into our religion, because that's how we unify ourselves, is to use Christianity to unify themselves.
Control everyone.
Yeah, that is really what it is.
But it's an interesting thing. So that kind of ties into this one video I got. So we'll pull that one up and take a look at this.
Christian nationalism is one of the greatest threats to freedom in this country, and it comes out of a very misguided way of understanding the message and mission of Jesus. Check it out.
Show me anywhere in the New Testament where any of the apostles are asking the magistrate to impose Christianity.
All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go, disciple the nations, baptizing them, teaching them to obey.
Oh, I knew he's going to focus
There's a
on that
word there, obey. Teaching them to obey all that I've commanded you.
You can't do it. It doesn't exist.
I just did it.
So Doug's
Okay, before we get into our man's interpretation here, Brian's, what do you think of Doug Wilson's interpretation? And Doug Wilson is one of the most despicable, disgusting.
Oh, he is
Christian
the
nationalist.
least Christ-like person. He's at the top, especially because he claims to be like Jesus. He is not like he would. If he came face to face with Jesus of Nazareth, he would want him locked up, sent away, in prisons, definitely. Put to death. He would have nothing to do with him. Jesus would not like him. They would not. Doug Wilson is a Pharisee through and through. He's exactly like the Pharisees. And yet he probably identifies himself like a disciple or something, but he is absolutely not. He looks like the Pharisees. He would have the same words said to him that Jesus said to the Pharisees, like he's a whitewashed tomb, he's a viper, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing, all the things.
So I've seen this, so I know this guy's idea, and I like his interpretation, but I want to see what
I think about
Doug's interpretation of this. So obey. So
I knew he would, before he said it, I saw that word and I was like, he's going to slow down right there. And he did. Yeah.
And this go forth and
make disciples.
So this is more of a militant.
Well, first, it's like, slow down. What does a disciple of Jesus look like? What does that even look like? To Doug Wilson, it looks like a soldier for Jesus, going out and forcing people basically in a way to live a certain way, to obey some sort of law or rules. Whereas I wouldn't say that's what Jesus' true message was, but Christianity, I think that's this message is true to that. Not what Jesus was after.
But it's this, he's got this interpretation of this forceful.
Yeah. Force them.
We're going to force the belief onto people and we're going to keep pushing it.
It has nothing to do with the heart or true change. It's about just change your behavior.
It was the Great Commission that this was from, that he quoted it from. And to him, that commission is like marching orders from a general. Yeah. Jesus is my general. He told me to go forth and do this.
And it wasn't even Jesus who says that.
And conquer the world.
It's Paul, probably.
Yeah,
I don't think. What verse did he say that's from?
He didn't. I don't think he quoted the actual verse.
Jesus wanted us to go into all this, make disciples. Maybe it was Jesus. I don't know.
So let's see what Brian Recker has to say here.
Oh, probably was Jesus, actually, the way that was worded.
Interpretation is that Jesus wanted us to go all over the world enforcing Doug's version of Christianity. For Doug, that means that Christians should push laws and governments to conform to his biblical interpretations. Even on things that Jesus didn't talk about at all, like condemning homosexuality, or things that the Bible doesn't mention at all, like banning abortion. The passage Doug quotes to make his point is the famous Great Commission passage, where Jesus sends his disciples throughout the world to preach the gospel. But what did Jesus mean? Did he have a nationalist vision? For Jesus, the gospel was defined as good news to the poor. Liberation for the oppressed, where the last are first, the poor are blessed, and the hungry are filled. Jesus preached a message of liberation for marginalized people, not domination with religious laws.
Exactly.
Doug emphasizes this word obey, but what law did Jesus expect us to obey? Jesus said the greatest commandment was to love God and to love your neighbor as yourself. So yes, Jesus sent us into the world to spread this liberation and to obey the command to love. The early church lived this out by creating communities of mutual aid where they held their belongings in common and cared for the vulnerable people among them, not by imposing religious laws on their governments. Christian nationalism gets the mission of Jesus wrong because Jesus sends us into the world to love and liberate, not to control and dominate.
Yeah, and let's just talk about that for a second. This is why the good news was good news. It was different than everything else. All these other nations, let's take Muslim, the Islam religion, where people are saying, oh, they want to force a religion, which I don't know much about Islam, but I do know that it's very similar to Christianity in that there can be zealots that can take certain verses from the Quran and go extreme, which we've seen.
Have this,
and it also can be very peaceful. I know some Muslims, and they're very peaceful people.
Yeah, so there's extremist of
exactly. So I think it's very similar to Christianity in that way. Judaism is probably similar in that way too, right? You can take it to the extreme or you can not. And those who take it to the extreme wreak havoc on the people, but also the people who don't, but support it kind of in a way by saying, well, this is what, God wants or whatever, or Allah wants or whatever, however the Jewish people would refer to God. But so I think those monotheistic or the Abrahamic religions all have that potential to be very violent, but also to be peaceful. There's you choose. He obviously pointed out the same thing I was saying before he talked about what's the gospel? What is the good news? And Christian nationalist good news is really not good news. Because if it comes to someone's ears and it's like, that is absolutely not good news, then it's not good news. Yeah. The good news is good. It was good news to everybody who heard it. It was good news to the poor, especially the marginalized. It was good news to them, especially because they were so burdened down. But also there was a time when Paul, assuming he was saying the same good news as Jesus, he was talking to the wealthy and in powerful positions. And even that guy was like, you're almost convincing me to like switch over to this. Like it's sounds so good. And yet the same message was preached to the poor and they were like rejoicing and it was joyful and it was beautiful. And it is love your neighbor, like sharing amongst one another. It wasn't a hoarding of power or a hoarding of resources or of power over one another. It was an equality. It was beautiful. It was, and I think a lot of where we're at in our spiritual understanding now is good news. Like I don't know anybody who truly hears it and thinks it's bad news. Some people don't hear it or don't understand it, but they'd never say it's bad news because it's not. It's good for anyone, right? But this message of Christian nationalism is not good news to everybody. It sounds absolutely horrible to those of us who have deconstructed from it. It sounds absolutely horrible to marginalized communities, anybody who's already treated as inferior to, your stereotypical wealthy white man. And Doug Wilson,
you got a special place in your heart for him.
I just cannot. He's the truest picture of like wolf in sheep's clothing. He is really.
He even looks like a wolf in sheep's clothing.
He just does. He is so far from Christ. He is so anti-Christ of the truest of Christ.
Yeah. But that's kind of what we're talking about. To him, he's not. He's in Christ's image
because he has a version of Christianity that is
they've
militant
redefined
and Roman.
Christ, and that's kind of what we're discussing here. Is this definition that the Christian nationalist and modern American Christians have of this Jesus?
Evangelical Christians have picked this up because they tend to be Christian nationalists, or Christian nationalists tend to come out of evangelicalism. I would say,
and they're the ones that redefined what this Jesus is. So you think of different things of what he is, like Doug Wilson's this militant, force the message on anyone. Jesus didn't force anything on anybody. Mm-mm. He just went out and was talking in public spaces, and people liked what he was saying. And they gravitated towards it. And they were listening, and they were saying to themselves,
like, could this be real? And it was going to go against the religious system that existed, that they were in. It was going to go against the government system because the government at the time wanted power over the people. The religious system wanted power over the people. And he's basically saying, you know what? The kingdom of God is within you. Like, that was new to their ears. They were like, what are you talking about? This is not what Doug Wilson says. The Doug Wilson says, like, God has these rules. You better follow them or you're burning hell.
Yeah. Well,
and so
the first, you're separated from God and in essence, Jesus until you accept Jesus.
Yeah. You're separate. You're actually an evil person.
So immediately right there, you've taken away one of Jesus's principles of the kingdom of heavens within you. And they said, well, no.
It's outside of you.
It's outside of you until you fall in line with our beliefs.
Yeah. And then maybe it's in you, but you have to show that it's in you.
Yeah. And you got to prove that it's coming out of you.
Prove it to us.
And if you ever fall away or deconstruct, were you ever really in?
Yeah, exactly. So then when you
never really knew the right
fully
Jesus.
Believed it, I believed it to the core of my being. I loved who I thought Jesus was with everything. That was the highest thing to me, higher than anything,
But
higher than.
I think a key is that you also had this image because you were fighting with the battle of this is what they're saying Jesus is.
And this is who, I don't know where I was picking up this
is what I'm picking up
exactly.
as Jesus is.
I had two images of Jesus being taught to me somehow.
Which is, I think, why you're seeing this huge decline in church participation in millennials and Gen X or Gen Z and
on down. Yeah.
Yeah. All Gen Alpha and all that.
I think Gen X actually is one of the first generations that's starting to see it.
Think about when our kids were in Sunday school, the Jesus they were taught. Yeah, they sang the military songs, but there was a lot of stories about he was so kind.
Yeah, he was loving.
Jesus
loves you.
He loves everybody.
He loves all the little children of the world.
Yeah, and you can't sing that song anymore of, what's that guy, the Christian comedian, Christ.
John
Christ or
John Christ
or something.
I think I know who you're talking about, yeah.
He's doing a little parody of being a pastor, and it's like, and one of his assistants came in and said, we got to redo all the songs in the nursery. He's like, why? Well, we can't sing them. They're inappropriate to sing. He's like, what are you talking about? Jesus loves all the children. White
all the children of the world, red and yellow, black and white. Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay. But.
Okay, wait. Why can't we sing that song? Because it points out colors?
Yeah, and I think, he's referring to that. But it was kind of funny how he was saying, we can't be singing that. Because it could get taken two other ways of like, we can't be singing that because he doesn't love all the multicolors.
They could say that. But it's like they also, Christian nationalists, I could see saying that. But I don't see any problem with, we do have different color skin, all of us. We have different colors, and it's okay.
But, so you had this nice friend, and I think that's what's happening with all the younger generations, and what was happening with you was trying to reconcile the adult version that you're starting to be taught of Jesus. Because there's a certain
When I was little, I was taught this loving Jesus, right?
Yeah. So you're probably, we're lower Gen X, younger Gen X. So
we relate to millennials quite a bit too, because we're on the edge.
Yeah, mid 70s and late 70s. So you had that message in. So you were kind of the example of what's happening with the lower generations. You got that Jesus is so friendly and loving, and he's going to give you all this stuff.
You mean the younger generations? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that message was coming through. Was that coming through to the boomers? What were they taught? Who was the Jesus they were taught?
The Jesus we were taught as adults was something different. What I came into.
Well, you came into as an evangelical, but when you were Catholic, how did you picture Jesus? Was he kind of powerless in a way to you?
No, he was kind of a cool dude. I'm trying to think. I don't
remember thinking much about him, or
not a ton.
That's so weird because he was such a big part of my
focus of your life.
It's like everything in my life.
It wasn't in mine. It was,
God.
What practice do I have tonight, and where are we going? What's for dinner?
So you didn't spend your time as a little kid, probably in elementary school, begging God to forgive me of my horrible sins.
No. See, but you had some of that in there too.
Yes. So I was getting a mixed thing somehow.
But as adults, we never really got the friendly Jesus a lot.
No.
We got a lot of
because we were steeping into, it was shifting into Christian nationalism without us knowing.
But I think that's what happens as you get older. Then it's more of here's what you need to do, and you need to be forceful and strict with your children and
you
raise
go
them
out
up,
and you
spare the rod, spoil the child.
Well, and remember the people we know people who know people who have friends who are in the LGBTQ who are in the LGBTQ community, and they found out that they were befriending a lot of people in the LGBTQ community. As a Christian, they were befriending. This is them basing the assumption that you can't be Christian and LGBTQ, and you absolutely can.
Yeah.
So anyways, they're like, oh, you're befriending them? You should not be friends with them. You should be like basically shoving Jesus at them. Your idea of Jesus, and you're, like they're sinners, they're blah, blah, blah. So their idea of the gospel is sin, lead with sin sin nature.
Yeah.
So, and that's part of the, what are you doing? Something wrong?
I'm just adjusting something. Keep
That's
going.
part of the problem, or part of how we've gotten to where we are with Christianity is it's very sin focused. It's not love focused. It's not, you're not known by your love. You're known by your obsession with sin, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was what we're getting. So you're trying to balance these two ideas out because you're getting presented this new Jesus that's not what it was. And I think that's part of probably what left you was this confusion. Which one is it? Is it the one I was taught as a kid or the one I was being taught as an adult? And that's happened to a lot of kids. They're like, yeah, this isn't the Jesus we were taught beforehand. We like that dude. This dude's kind of an
So I'm wondering if what was happening is it was being taught this loving Jesus, right? And then you had the moral majority with Jerry Falwell and all them coming up, right? Was that
I don't know, because if you look through Christianity's history, there's a lot of
militant, right? So maybe they were bringing it. Maybe I don't know. I don't know where it came from. Where it had this Jesus that was loving and kind to everyone.
I think it was probably through the leaders of the Evangelical movement.
Was it being brought in like, hey, this is more the Jesus we want to represent?
Well, I think they set up a plan of
because they wanted to get it in politics. What's always
the key with these people? What's the group we're always looking to help and protect and save?
What do you mean?
Children.
Oh, yeah. They aim for the children because they know if you can get a child to believe something, it's very hard to get him off of it later.
Is it going to be easier for a child to believe something that you can put a little bit of fear in now?
Okay. So you're saying it's always been kind of taught this way.
Give a lot of love and build the character of it. Then they're hooked on this character of it.
Well, and I would say, neither of those are exactly who Jesus is.
No.
I would say Jesus is very loving.
Yeah.
But he's also he's rebellious.
Yeah.
He's like when I went back and actually read Jesus in the New Testament later when Deconstruction was kind of starting, I actually wanted to see what is he actually saying and who's he saying it to and what's the situation around it. And he actually is always harping on the leaders.
Oh, yeah.
He is calling them names.
Yeah, that was one thing that stood out was all the negative speak of Jesus was directed at the church leaders. And
he
when he was
never
talking
really
to
does
people,
it
was compassionate and empathetic and
very different style that he has with those who are in power and those who aren't.
Yeah. So I think there was this message being taught that you struggled with of difference, and you're trying to reconcile these two Jesuses because they're two completely different people.
There was cognitive dissonance going on.
This was a bipolar Jesus.
Yeah, really. And then it gets to the point
it's like, oh, he's so friendly and loves you and can give you everything, but if you go against him, he's going to burn you in hell for eternity. And
the images in Revelation that they would use of like him dripping in blood.
Yeah, because he's a warrior coming back.
He's got King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and he's got an army, and
that goes to more proving the theory of he's created a man's image. Because if you look at all the religions of the world that existed, they're gods. A lot of the ones that are the powerful gods that are leaders of the gods, the alpha gods, are very militant and powerful, and are combative and conquering.
They will force you to step in line.
Of course, the Judeo-Christian God was going to... If you look at the Jewish God of the Old Testament, he was just like all the other gods. Mm-hmm. Just all of them wrapped into one. So he was very militant in this, but then he'd have some grace and compassion here and show some love here. But most of his
if you were willing to be sorry enough.
Most of his characteristics were very... aggro
harsh.
And aggressive and harsh.
Yeah, very
just like a lot of the other
masculinity.
Gods. Yeah, just like a lot of the other gods that were existed.
Different.
Yeah, it's just another created imagery.
That's very true.
So, we have this different thought, and I think that's why people are leaving. We're trying to reconcile these two different Jesuses on what they are because we're trying to fluff them up over here and make him into this great guy, but also careful. And I remember getting lessons like this too of Jesus, God loves you so much, but he's a jealous God and a vengeful God.
Or like he's not, I think in the Chronicles of Narnia, it's like he's not safe.
Yeah, he's not safe.
Aslan was supposed to represent like Jesus and like he's good, but he's not safe.
Yeah.
And that's
terrifying. And the imagery a lot of these Christians go to, I think a lot, is like the Lion of Judah. So it's this powerful beast that's going to rip and tear flesh and prowl and conquer. And it's, you don't hear a whole lot about the sheep anymore.
The lamb.
The Lamb of God, unless you're talking about the bloody sacrifice that he had to be, and then he's a lamb.
And you even more rarely hear about the lion lying with the lamb. Like they're laying together, basically like there's peace now.
Yeah.
There's peace.
Yeah.
And that's really the message is there's peace between you and what you think you're battling with, which is this, God or these powers that want to like, there's peace because you realize they don't have power over you.
Yeah.
And that would be great news if that's what you heard, but it's not. It's basically us versus them. It's not, Christians are not known by their love. They're not yet. So it's or Christian nationalists specifically.
So I think Doug Wilson's a good example of this militant. And we know a lot of people that are like this. And we know people close to us that are like this, where it's this conquering. And especially the ones that are very much into apocalyptical thought, that he's coming back with a sword,
It's no different than how the ancient Jewish people expected their Messiah to come.
Yeah.
They wanted someone who just basically
and that's their justification
just conquered
too.
Everybody else and put them on a pedestal, like we are the ones who.
And I don't know if we ever thought like this before, but I always thought, well, that's the verification of this Jesus, because the Jews got it wrong. They didn't realize that was the Messiah. But what they got right was that he was going to come back and conquer the world, but it was going to be in the end times when the tribulation was going to come.
Yeah.
So that's when he was going to be the militant
And that's how
leader.
they believe it. But the problem is, and this is when we started, when I was starting to study Revelation, there was a time frame, and it says it's going to happen between this many weeks. Yeah. And actually, the temple falls and everything is finished in that many weeks.
If you calculate it back and count weeks as...
they try to trick around. And then there's they'll say there's 1 week left. There's this big gap in between. And it's like, there was no mention of a gap being in between. It just finished in 70 AD. It was over. Yeah. All of it's over. Yeah. All that military talk was about 70 AD. And the math's always
worked out perfectly for the last 2,000 years on how they ever interpreted the numbers. And it'll probably work out perfectly.
They're just twisting things to fit their own.
Yeah. It's
eisegesis, is that what it is?
And I think that's a good example there too of what Doug Wilson is. He has the end product that he wants.
Yes.
And that's his faith that he wants to believe in.
It's his gospel of his God made in his image.
It's not a revealed faith to him. It's a faith he's created that he wants to uphold. Yeah. And he's worked backwards and made that Jesus fit into that. And I think that's what's happened a lot with this Christian.
And the thing is, the thing that comforts me when I see people doing that, like their God has no power whatsoever. It's made up in their heads. They have made this God up. It is weak as fuck. It's not going to do anything. There's no, can they cause some damage if they're getting connected to the government and they're trying to use that power? Absolutely. They can hurt some, but they will not last in the long run. This whole idea that they want, it will fail. It will fail because there is no God. They've made him up. Yeah, he's powerless.
If we deconstruct that example of Doug Wilson has this belief that he has and has worked backwards to create that Jesus, what did he do? He created his own God.
Yes, he did.
He created his own version of this God. He just took this name and this ideology of this man and said, this is what I'm going to do it. And I'm going to work backwards and interpret all these scriptures this way to make him fit into this interpretation so I can come to this end result.
Exactly. And he hasn't come up to that with that all by himself, because he would be like, no. He's picked up things that have been passed down to him, right, from other people, instead of going actually back and reading the Bible in a very, if you're going to use the Bible, but you could use lots of ancient literature, but like
in a revealing way,
in a way that lets it speak to you. And in the beginning, it was like mankind was made in the image of God.
So
if you're in the image of God, then there's beauty and there's not this sin nature. And there's, it's like, it's a whole different story if you read it differently.
Yeah.
And a lot of ancient books would agree with that.
If you go and I don't know what I was going to say, so we'll move on from there. But so, yeah, he's created his own God from this. And I think that's happened a lot. We know people that have done this. We have this new faith. This is what we believe. So this is what Jesus is now.
And this is why Christianity splits so much too, because their gods look different.
Yeah.
Your God thinks that, okay, my God doesn't think that's okay. Yeah. So we can't.
You got the wrong God.
So
you believe in the
Doug
Pope.
Wilson's probably looks very different than, I don't know, some other famous preacher or whatever.
Joel Osteen.
What's his name? Mark Driscoll. Mark Driscoll and Doug Wilson probably have very different versions of who Jesus really is. If you get down to the core, at first it'll start to look alike, and then it'll look very different.
But someone like Joel Osteen would be.
Joel Osteen would have a different, and
different. Kenneth Copeland would be way different too.
Oh yeah. So, and then your average Presbyterian church pastor would have a different one.
Kenneth Copeland's Jesus is a magician.
He's a genie. He's a genie in a bottle.
He's a genie, yeah. He's a genie in a Bible.
He's a genie in a Bible.
You rub your Bible a little bit and you get your wish. There's power in that.
Yeah. There's
power in that dire book.
Or in the words that you say and the phrases that you repeat over and over and over, which there's something to affirmations and stuff. Yeah. But he's using it like a genie.
But the problem when you recreate and work from your end goal backwards to the source and try to create your source material is that you're going to have this path that you created. But the original source is going to have all this other paths out here with different information that'll contradict and throw stones at your glass house that you've built.
But that's when they were like, oh, persecution.
But you're like...
But it's like, it's actually truest of divinity actually trying to... What did you know?
No, your microphone came loose. You got to plug it in. Plug it back in.
It's not unplugged. You mean unplug it and put it back in?
Yeah.
You're going to write down this timestamp?
No, you'll still carry a little bit on mine. It's all right. We're working through this. Hold on, I gotta reconnect you. You should be good.
Hello. It's not showing up on there.
Huh?
It's not showing up on there.
Okay.
Yours, it doesn't look like it's on, like the light.
And there we go. Now we got them both.
Okay.
So now we should be live on both. Yeah. Talk, Andy.
Hello. Testing. Can you see me?
Oh, and now we got a bad delay. We'll see how it works.
Okay.
This end part might be a little rough, but you'll have to deal with 15 minutes of
sorry for the bad
stuff.
Audio.
So, technical issues. But so yeah, they do that, but this guy easily disproved Doug Wilson saying, yeah, if you want to take the Great Commission as this military thing, but what was the Great Commission? It was sending them out to spread their word, which was just, hey, this is what we got. Do you like it? No, you do? All right. And here's more about it. It wasn't, come in here and you guys come in here and come into our beliefs and you got to start believing in this guy.
The law of the land to change to force you.
They weren't yelling at people and forcing people to believe in this Jesus.
They were not combining forces with the governments either.
Yeah, they were
separate.
Yeah, it was completely separate, completely different.
Because God's kingdom was considered an invisible force that was just naturally taking over because it was loving and good and kind and inclusive and all these things. And yet he's preaching a gospel that is what the New Testament would call anathema or cursed or, you know, like, because it's something else. It is something else. It is not the gospel. And that's what irritates me sometimes. Even though I'm not a Christian anymore, I do not think Jesus has anything to do with Christianity, the true Jesus of Nazareth. It pisses me off when people like Doug Wilson act like this is who Jesus was, because he absolutely was not. And if you go back and you actually take the time to read what he said.
We'll dive into that probably next week when we get into
he's not the same person.
Our interpretation of it, because we got the correct interpretation of Jesus.
But I mean,
we'll actually look into what.
Do we have to actually bring our Bibles next week? I could.
Do we have Bibles?
I have
anymore?
my old one still.
So, but there's another video here. This is kind of a parody of Christian nationalism. So
I'm a Christian nationalist, and I believe Jesus when he tells us to trust him. I just don't trust him when he tells us to give away our wealth or welcome the immigrant or love our enemies. I'm a Christian nationalist. I believe that we need to base laws on the Bible, because if we didn't base them on the Bible, we would have to base them on shared morals, and I certainly don't have any. I'm a Christian nationalist, and I believe that God gave me free will to be able to choose that Christians are better than everyone and that everyone else should live by our rules. Free will. I'm a Christian nationalist, and I believe that Christianity is under attack by people who don't want to be Christian. And we need to go on the offense to force everyone to be Christian. When Satan quotes scripture in the Bible, I don't see that as a warning on how scripture can be misused. I see that as evidence that Satan is actually a Christian nationalist. I'm a Christian nationalist,
Amen.
and I...
Laughing. Just kidding. Satan is a Christian nationalist.
But I mean, it's not too far from the truth.
No.
They just kind of do this mental gymnastics on what the scriptures reveal of what Jesus was. You know, you can't take the stories of him with the woman at the well, or him healing the blind man, or feeding the people, or anything like this, and then reconcile it with what these guys are trying to put him out for. If you look at what Jesus was and would try to define him in a political sense, he would be a true socialist.
He would be.
And Christians' ears are burning right now.
They don't like that. Because they've been programmed to think that by Christian nationalism to hate that word, right? Even though they use socialist programs, they will deny it, but they do.
That was because the socialist communist countries got rid of God as a center of attention. So they thought that communism was godless, and socialism then was godless too. These guys got to stop calling.
And this is the thing, though, that when you put God at the center of something and you have that as your government, the idea of God is not the same from person to person.
No,
so now you've got, this is why I can with 100% confidence say, if they align and they get
Your mic just went off again.
Are you serious? Are you sure it's not yours? You keep bumping yours and then saying it's mine.
No, it's yours.
Well, then you're bumping something of mine, because I'm not even touching mine.
Something's coming loose on it.
I plugged it back in.
And
Hello?
there we go. All right.
Okay. Well, now I've lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
God is the center of your...
Oh, if you make him the center, if they do that, if these Christian nationalists get what they're aiming for, right, it will fall apart at the top, because you have different types of Christianity up there trying for the power. Right now, they're kind of unified. Like, you have Catholics that are Christian nationalists without knowing it, and you have evangelicals that are Christian nationalists. But evangelicals do not think Catholics are Christian. No. And I don't know, maybe even vice versa. I think Catholics pretty much think they're the only ones that are going to heaven. So it's like, if you're the truest, if you really believe in, you're most zealous, right? And those are going to butt heads. And all of those different types of Christianity are going to butt heads. And they will devour one another. So it's not a strong government. It wouldn't be a strong government at all. It'd be very weak, very divisive amongst its top even. But I don't know where I was going with that.
You were going somewhere.
I was going
somewhere. You got partly there, and then it just kind of...
it just dropped. Yeah.
But yeah, so if you look, and we'll get into this next week when we'll try to maybe find some verses maybe. Because there's verses, of Jesus and how he was healing and helping and feeding, and verses
we could
about
even go through some stories.
He was talking
look at the
about
context.
How to treat others in society, how to treat the foreigner and the visitor, and all this. And now the Christian nationalists are like, screw that. We're putting up walls and borders and getting rid of all these foreigners and nationalists. They're taking away from.
So opposite.
It's like Jesus wasn't saying protect your own interest and all your assets and don't share any of your, government wealth with anyone. Just make sure it's only for your people. It was like, no.
He was actually quite the opposite. He was like, you have
use this
the
information
abundance.
To help everybody.
If you really believe that you are made in God's image, if you really believe that Jesus it lives inside you, let's just say that. If you really believe that the power of God is within you, because you've asked Jesus into your heart, or believe in that Jesus died on the cross for your sins, right? If you believe that, I was taught, oh, now Jesus lives inside you. He's in your heart. So you're one with God, basically, or God is inside you, which always confused me because I was like, okay, I have a sin nature in there and I have Jesus in there and they're fighting back. You know what I'm saying? It creates a weird dilemma. But I would say that Christian nationalists, like she made a point in there, and evangelical Christians, I guess I was raised Christian nationalists and didn't know it, but they don't trust God at all. Because if they did, they would not have to make laws to force people to live a certain way. They would just leave it up to God. If the law comes through, if something comes through and makes people change, then that's trusting God. They don't get involved in it. They do not try to make laws. They don't back people who do that. You know, they want you to make laws about fixing the streets and, you know, like our tax dollars go to helping one another, Medicaid, Medicare, you know, Social Security, all that kind of stuff to help the people, help all of us. But they do not want religion mixed with government. Because to me, that is a sure sign that you actually do not trust God. Even these people that go and try to protest abortion or whatever, if you trust God, you trust that God will take care of each situation, stop the abortions he wants, allow the abortions he wants, you know, like, but they don't trust God. They feel like they need the government to step in and take the place of God. And if you read any of the Old Testament stories where there is violence and war and all of that, there are stories where God is like, narrow down your men. I don't want you to be able to take credit for it at all. I want you to come in weak, basically, so that you don't get to say it was you, it was me. So yet we're doing the opposite in America, where we're like, no, we need now laws made. We need to force people. We need to put 10 commandments up. That is the actual opposite of trust in God. If you trust, you relax, you let God take care of all those things. You don't worry about what your neighbor's doing so much, you know, as long as it's not affecting you, who cares? As long as it's not, you know, hurting other people, like, who cares? If it's hurting other people, then maybe you have a say, you know. I guess in a way, some people have made up that it is hurting other people. They make up stories and then people believe it. Like, they're making your kids have surgeries in school. That's not true. Like,
how many of your kids have actually come home that way? And
it's never happened.
How many of you do you know anybody in your friends group?
Nobody listens to it. Everybody listens would be like, no, that's true. But it's like,
no, it's happening. And it's like, but where? Show
me the proof.
Give me the example.
Give me the person's name. I want to see the records of what happened. And like, I want to hear from the doctors. I want to hear from the parents. I want to hear from the person themselves. Nowhere. You're not going to find it because it's made up stories to create fear so that you will move in a way that justifies the greed for power that they have.
So,
which is a very different type of greed than.
It's funny. You said something in there, and it's a mindset I think some of these people have. Is that how can I worry about what I need to do when I have to worry about what everyone else is doing? That's a very, I know what you're referring to, but that actually is how Christians operate. Yeah. And if Christians could just be like you were saying, if your God's powerful, then just worry about your own participation in here. Yeah. How am I going to live day to day? And what am I doing right now that is loving and good and kind and represents who I am? I don't have to worry about my neighbor's salvation. I don't have to worry about what they're doing in their bedroom. I don't have to worry about where the government's money's going to. You know, well, maybe you should. But yeah, if I just worried about myself and what was going on, I don't have to worry about what somebody else is doing on a Sunday morning and not being in church when I'm at church. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's where you want to be, great. Let God deal with them. If he wants them at church, he'll get them to church. And if not, and he doesn't need the law to step in. He doesn't need your politicians and stuff to step in because what's happening is greed and all of that is doing it. Nothing to do with true Christ at all. And I think there's so much of this Christian Jesus that is defined today that we didn't even touch the top of the iceberg on the different characteristics. But I think we kind of hit a couple of the bigger ones of the militant, this demanding, exacting, revengeful, jealous, but still caring and kind and empathetic, and this bipolar idea of what he is. And it's something that they 100% created to fit their ideology instead of letting what should be done of the revelation of information And this is no
That's
matter
the
if you're
stuff
religious
that'll
or
change
not.
your life. Revelations will change your life.
Yeah.
If it's revealed to you
So
rather than you forcing it.
This isn't religious mindset at all. It's just any information that you come to. What's that mean? And what is
how does it impact my life? In what ways does it change my understanding of how the world is or whatever?
I have this belief, so I need to find different information out here
to back
because
it
then
up,
you become QAnon and conspiracy theorist of,
and
I'm
you're
going to take
blown
this
all
study
over the place
and I'm going to take this
Yeah.
information from this guy over here that said something that's kind of a doctor and this person over here that's, you know, and it's like now all of a sudden you got this whole collaboration of ideas. It's like,
where they get a lot of their information is their leaders. The church leaders have way more power than they should have.
Oh yeah,
because these guys are uneducated. Most of these guys are completely uneducated. They don't know anything about the world at all. They've been lived in a bubble their whole entire lives. Grew up homeschooled, you know, and then they go out and maybe they don't even go to like a seminary where, I mean, we know so many pastors that just are like, I was called, so I'm the next pastor. I've been, you know, and they've grown up in this belief system, and then now their whole living depends on it, right? They've got a family a lot of times, so they're not going to part from it unless they are really convicted.
Was that a study I saw?
To go that direction. And that will just like crumble their life.
There was some study, and I can't remember if it was pastors or something else, but I told you that their idea, the people studied them. Psychologists studied them and said that it was some like 50% or 70% of them
are the dumbest people. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Like sociopathic narcissists.
Oh yeah. I would not. I would not.
But I mean, think about it.
I believe it.
A lot of people that tend to be these head pastors. Why did they do it? Well, I was called. Were you called, or do you just want to be a control freak?
You want to have power over people.
Yeah.
They act in positions like they take over counseling. You have people educated for years and years and years in counseling and therapy. They step in and they're like, no, I can do that.
No, psychology is stupid. It's of the devil. I know what's really going on. We're going to open the Bible.
And a lot of these, like I said, like there is something, people who go to seminary, a lot of the people that go to seminary are not evangelical Christians. No, but they might stay Christians, but they are ones that are a lot of times more loving, more kind, more. They don't because they see
so many people that are atheists because they went to seminary.
Well, that too. But I'm saying like some of the
and actually started studying.
Some of the people that went, I don't see very many. I'm talking evangelical Christians. I do not know many pastors who actually went to seminary, and actually they think it's so. They almost think it's evil to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Because they know a lot of them will not believe like they do.
Seminaries teach what they believe to the people.
Well, true.
So
and a lot of times
if that doesn't line up with your current beliefs, then why would you go to it?
True. But some seminaries are kind of secular in a way. They teach you the stuff and they leave it kind of open.
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of learn and struggle with this stuff. And so they don't come away with this idea of God being vengeful and angry. They walk away with like not knowing all the answers, right? Yeah. But evangelical Christians, Christian nationalists they act like they know God, they have it all figured out and fall in line.
It's more bubble thought where we stay in our own bubble and we don't go outside of it because it's safe in here.
Well, and then once you've built your whole life on that, you are going to continue to push for it because you'll lose your livelihood.
It's incestuous. So if you keep breeding your information on what's inside this small group and don't spread it out, you're going to have ideas that have 2 heads and 4 teeth and 3 arms because you're not expanding out into anything. You're just keeping it in here and just feeding off of this.
Constructive criticism. They can't take it.
No.
If you have any criticism, I mean, because there is constructive criticism. And you need that because it sharpens you, right? But they don't take it. Then they listen to and they parrot one another. Yeah. You know, so it's whatever.
So anywho, all right, that'll wrap us up. Next week, maybe we'll get into more of what was Jesus really?
What was he really like?
Yeah, and more of deconstruct him a little bit from what we have today and see what really is underneath the peel of all this bullshit.
So we've talked a lot about who we were taught he was, at least in evangelical Christianity.
Yeah. So if you're following us on YouTube, like, subscribe, and follow. We'd appreciate that greatly. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, give us 5 stars. That helps the algorithm, kicks us out a little more, and all that good stuff. Takes 1 second. Just click it. And if you want to reach out to us, give us information, tell us about the Jesus that you were taught about, go down below in the description. Danny Can links down there, and you can click on that and get a hold of us that way. See what we got going on. And yeah, so that's all we got for you today. So if the end of this sounds kind of weird, well, sorry. I'll try to fix it best I can in post. But it's better than what it used to be, where we'd have to shut everything down and then try to clip everything together, because I figured out ways to correct it in flow now. So we're growing.
We both went like this at the same time.
Yeah, we're a special breed. So with that being said, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
So hot in here. I need to get a bigger cord for this. Because, I like to lounge.